Hey family, I apologize. I had to take this important phone call. But I want to continue with the story real quick. So the girl that I was with, right, she was definitely into witchcraft. But when I had first met her, I knew she was doing that shit, but I didn't think it was real. I just thought it was just a scam, to scam these people out of their money. So I just left her alone. I did my thing, she did her thing. But I remember one particular day I said to her, look, I want to sit in one of your sessions and shit. I want to see exactly what you be doing. Because I was curious. I'm saying to myself, if she's getting money to what she allegedly was tying, right? She called it tying individual to another individual, pretty much holding this individual against their will. So I said to myself, shit, if she could do that to another nigga, she probably did that shit to me. So I was like curious. So I say, look, I want to sit in and see, what you be doing. So reluctantly, she agreed and shit. But no, she had no choice because I wanted to see it. You were living in my house doing this shit. I want to see what the hell you be doing. So anyway, this one particular client, right? She had several clients coming in the house and she did it. But this one particular client, this particular day, this is the day I decided I wanted to sit in and see what's going on. And this lady came in. She wasn't even a lady. She was a girl. She was probably like 21. Well, I guess you could consider that a lady, right? Young adult, whatever. But anyway, she came in very, very visibly upset and shit. She was like crying and, hysterical. And she was like, Carol, that was a girl named Carol, you're going to have to undo this shit because this nigga is physically abusive. He's trying to kill me. But she wasn't talking like how I'm talking. She was talking in Jamaican. But I'm just trying to translate it to y'all, give y'all my version and shit, like the King James Version Bible. But anyway, she was like telling her, look, you need to undo it because, this dude is trying to kill me. And I remember, I'll never forget what she said in response. She said, remember before I did it, I told you that it's a possibility that the dude will try to hurt you because you're holding him against his will. Now, when you look at her friend, if you look at her friend and you look at the dude, because I knew both of them, right? Junior, and her friend name was also Carol, believe it or not. And I looked at both of them. I was like, ain't no way in hell Junior would want her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to go into the description how she looks, because I'm not trying to offend anybody, but they wasn't a good match. And Junior had a reputation for being a gallus. A gallus meant that, you have a lot of girls and shit, right? And when you clearly look at this girl, that wouldn't have been Junior type. So I remember her saying, you remember I told you, look, it's a possibility if he didn't really want to be with you, it could become violent. And you told me you was okay with it because you was sure, according to what she said, my good oil is going to want him to be with me. What she said, let me translate that shit for y'all in y'all English. Basically what she's saying, her pussy was going to make him want her because how she was going to put it on him. Beside my girl doing the tying, plus whatever she was going to do sexually, this was her. I remember her saying that shit too, saying the first time around. My pussy, she said, I have the good oil. For you West Indian, you know what I'm talking about. She got the good pom-pom, all right? And by her going along with it, she pretty much sold her soul because, see, the girl that I was dealing with, she sold her soul to whatever entity for her to even have this ability to bewitch people, right? But, I was young in the game. This was like in the 90s and shit. I didn't know much about Hobia, voodoo, what I'm saying? I was in another kind of game. I don't want to talk about it, but I was in a different kind of game. So after seeing it, and I seen how upset this girl was, and when my girl told her, look, there's nothing she could do about it, the girl was like, look, I'll pay you double to get this thing undone. And my girl in response said to her, she said, the only way you could get out of this is if he kill you or you kill him. It was one of those to till death do you part moment shit. When y'all go to that dumbass wedding that y'all be doing, that Roman wedding, and they do that shit, till death do you part. You know what I'm saying? They're putting spells on y'all. Y'all don't understand how deep this shit is. You know what I'm saying? This Bible that we read, man, the Heliobiblos, I'm gonna go into a little bit more in this video. Y'all better be careful, because they've been using these witchcraft on us with this Heliobiblos sun book that y'all refer to as a Bible for like decades, for centuries and shit. But I'll go into that after I finish the story. So after, I heard what I had to hear, I said, like, I gotta go. So now I start thinking about me and shit, like, did this bitch do something to me? Excuse my language, I don't like calling my people that name, but it is what it is. And I'm like, look, I gotta get my shit checked out. So I remember, like, the following 2 weeks, she was supposed to be going to Jamaica, because Every year she go down, you know, they have this big party and shit, and she go down and bring clothing or whatever. And I had a feeling she was dealing with her baby father, but at the time I didn't care because, you know, I was doing me too. And I remember her asking me, can she use my, you know, wear my jewelry. Now, the jewelry that I used to wear back then, family, I'm not trying to drag this shit out, but I'm driving, so I got something to say. Now, the jewelry I used to have back then was called link chains. I don't know, for you people that grew up in the 90s and shit, you remember them big rope chains and those link chains? And we used to have this thing called chopperate. It's like a big ass gold bracelet. Probably wasn't even 100%, you know, gold and shit, but, you know, it was made and it was expensive. So we used to buy the shit. These Chinese people used to make them shits for us, right? And Jamaican jewelry. And I remember she asked me, can she use it? And I'm like, I looked at her and I was kind of like in disbelief that she actually would have the audacity to ask me for me to give her my jewelry, knowing damn well in Jamaica they probably was gonna rob her ass. And I'm like, yeah, you can have it. And it's like I'm telling her yes by my mouth, but deep down I'm like, hell no. But family, I think I was bewitched myself. Actually, I was bewitched, and I'm gonna tell you how I figured it out. So I was like, yeah, you can, I lend it to you. And I'm saying to myself, no, you can't. No, you can't have it. But I'm like, yeah, you can. And she like, thanks. And it's almost like she knew I was going to say yeah. And everybody knew this one particular link bracelet, not bracelet, this necklace that I had. Man, I took pride in that shit because that shit cost me like almost $1,500. You know what I'm saying? Back then, that was a lot of money. And I remember taking pride. And I gave it to her. And she, you know, I was like, okay, do you want to go to Jamaica sooner than later? Because she said she was going to go only for 5 days. I said, look, I'll pay for the extra 2 days. You could take a flight out. And the reason why I wanted to do that, because now I wanted to get my shit checked out. I wanted to make sure I was good. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, why you want me to leave so early? Will you have some bitches come? I said, nah, ain't no bitches. I just want, you know, we want you to have a good time and shit. If you go for 5 days, you might as well go 7 days. Enjoy the weekend while you at it, you know? And I said, besides, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be in Texas. So what's the difference? So she was like, okay, cool. But she didn't know that I was like trying to get her ass out of there so I could go check myself out. So long story short, family, after she left, right, I went to this Santo Domingo guy. Now, they used to call him a spiritual healer, but he did other things. But I just went there just because I wanted to see if he was going to be able to tell me if something was wrong with me. And back then, you know, I didn't really believe in this shit, but everybody, all the drug dealers was doing it. They was going there for protection, getting rings, special rings and necklaces they wear around their neck. And I'm going to be honest with you, I kid you not, the Most High is my witness. I was not involved in that shit, all right? So please don't think that I was involved. I'm just giving y'all the story. And I'm going to tie it up soon enough. So after, you know, she left, I went to this Santo Domingo guy in Queens, New York and shit. And when I walked into the store, it was 2 Spanish women and him. And I kid you not, family, as soon as I walked into the store, this dude stopped what he was doing in his track and he was just staring at me like, what? You know, I'm like, so I'm looking at me like, what is it about me? I thought I had on some jewelry. I didn't have no jewelry because I gave her all my jewelry. The bitch compelled me to give her jewelry, give her my jewelry. So I didn't have no jewelry on. So I'm like, why is this dude looking at me? So then he you know, he gestured for me to come to where he was at. And I went over to him. He said, uno momento, you know, because I know a little bit of Spanish and shit. And he was like, uno momento. I said, okay, no problem. And I was like, you know, after he was done with his client, he greeted me. I said, you know, ¿cómo estás? And he was like, muy bien, whatever. We was talking Spanish and shit. And then he said to me, I know why you're here. And I'm like, okay, now I'm about to find out if this shit is for real, for real. I want to see if you know why I'm really here. And family, this man took me in the back room. And this is what he said to me. He said, normally I will charge you a certain amount of money, but this is going to be very easy for you to get rid of her. Just like that, he said to me, family. I kid you not. And I said, huh? He said, I know why you're here. He said, all you need is 6 limes, not lemon, lime, green lime, some sea salt, and Kalanga water. They sold the Kalanga water there. It was like $3 for the Kalanga water. And I'm looking at it and I'm in like disbelief because I never met this man before, never seen him in my life. But this nigga, this motherfucker knew why I was there. And this is what he said to me. He said, the reason why I'm not going to charge you the regular fee is because whatever she did to you, it didn't work 100% because your spirit is stronger than the spirit that she put upon you. That's exact. But you know, a little broken English and shit, but that's exactly what he said to me. And he said, also, you're a different person. That's what he said. You're a different hombre. You're a different hombre. That's what he said. Different hombre. And I'm like, I didn't understand all that, what he meant. I know what he mean now because, like I said, I've seen my spirit in action. But family, he gave me the instruction what to do. He said, just cut the lemons, squeeze them in the bathtub. Make sure the bathtub is clean. Squeeze the lemon in the bathtub. Put the sea salt in the water. Now everybody, well, not everybody, people, if you don't know, salt is purity. Okay, so you can use salt. It's no obi, there's no witchcraft with salt. And he told me to pour the sea salt in the water. Pour the Kalanga water. Kalanga water is like a alcohol-based rubbing alcohol type thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I did it, he said, sit in it for like an hour. I did everything he said. When I went in the water, family, that shit was burning me up, right? Literally burning me up. And I remember after I sat in the water, I felt like a burden came off of me. Like I felt like I was free. Because this girl had bewitched me. It was common sense. If she did it to other people, well, why wouldn't she do it to me and shit? And I remember, like, after I took the bath, right, like a half an hour later. Back then, we didn't have cell phone. We had what was referred to as beepers, right? Now, I remember, like, a half an hour later, the beeper went off. And she put 911. Now, she gave me the number in Jamaica where she was at. And back then, we used to use, like, phone cards and shit to call Jamaica. And I remember calling her and she was crying. She was like, I want to come home. I want to come home. So I'm like, what happened? What happened? Did you get robbed? Or she said, no, I just miss you. I just have this feeling that you're going to leave me. And I'm like, huh? But, I'm the type of person, I pick up real quick. And I'm like, in my mind, like, okay, I figured it out. I figured, okay, maybe this bitch realized whatever spell she put on me and shit, the shit is broken. And now she's worrying that I'm going to leave her. And I was like, nah, just stay where you at. I said, enjoy yourself. I'm not leaving you. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going to Texas. I'll be back. By the time I get back, will you be back? And we'll hook up. And family, after I hung up the phone, convinced her and hung up the phone, I took all her clothes out of the house. And I remember, like, something was compelling me to check underneath my drawers. Now, I pull out all my drawers, right? And one of the drawers came all the way out. And when I pulled it out, it came out and I seen this bottle underneath the drawer, this flat glass bottle underneath the drawer. And this bitch had a red underwear with some liquid, and they call it parchment paper, right? In the glass. And apparently that's what she had used to bewitch me. And I guess the reason why I was able to even find this shit, because whatever spell that she had on me was broken, and the Most High was just leading me. And family, I took the shit, and I remember going to her sister's house, and I bought all her shit there, including the bottle. I asked her sister, I said, what's this? Because her sister, the whole family was into that shit. And she looked at me like puzzled. I said, what is this? I said, I already know what it is, but I want to know, what is it? And she said, oh, let me get it. She said, I'll take care of it. She said, oh, Carol, talking Jamaican, she said, Carol tried to tie you, or she tied you, something like that, she said. I said, oh, so she did the same thing she did with her clients to me? She said, yep. And she said, but it didn't work because evidently you're here. That means it didn't work. And I said, oh, okay. So she took it in the backyard. I remember her putting it on some rocks and wood and shit, and she started burning. The shit broke. Family, when the bottle broke, I seen a black smoke erratically escape out of the fire. Listen, truth is stranger than fiction. I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna believe me, but listen, this shit is for real, 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you the truth. And I seen that shit, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave this girl. And it was so funny because when she came back from Jamaica, she never called me. As a matter of fact, I remember telling her sister, tell her to keep the jewelry that I loaned her, and she can pawn it out and get herself an apartment. I don't want to deal with her no more. So, of course, the sister probably told her, gave her some heads up and shit, that I found her out. And I remember seeing, like, about a couple months later in a club. And when she seen me, family, that bitch took off. She ran out that club like like I had a gun to her head. And it wasn't because she was threatened by me, it's because she realized that I knew who she really was. So, in closing, family, what I'm telling you, this Heliobiblios, this Bible that we read, they have used this Bible to put a spell on us, okay? Even though the stories sound great in the Old Testament and the patriarch of old, and I do rock with the Old Testament because they plagiarized it from my book of remembrance, but the New Testament, family, when you call upon Yahweh Shai, Yahushua, Jesus Christ, and all these son deity, these characters in the Bible, the New Testament, you guys are being put under a spell. This is why a lot of our people are captivated with Christianity, family. I know it sounds crazy, but please heed my warning. It's time for y'all to come out of it. Release yourself from this religion called Christianity. Stop dealing with this New Testament deity. And that Bible that y'all are reading, before y'all go into it, make sure you ask the Most High for spiritual cover. Okay? Use discernment when y'all using this book. I've seen people use the Bible to do witchcraft. She used to have a Bible. She used to have a New Testament Bible. Every time she was, I don't know if she just put it there for show so that people could think that she's not really a witch or whatever. But listen, the Bible is not what you think it is. Please. I'm not telling y'all not to read the Bible, but whenever you read the Bible, ask for spiritual cover from the Most High, from your Creator, not from God, not from Lord, from your Creator. Invoke your Creator to protect you, whoever He is. Okay? Because I'm telling y'all, we are dealing with spiritual attack on a daily basis because a lot of y'all are still fucking with that New Testament deity, that sun deity, which is none other than Lucifer. All right? Y'all could take this message for what it's worth. It is what it is. My job is done. And with that, I say shalom.